As your props here with my latest project, Kika's blades from Suikoden IV. Because of the machined shapes and non-organic surfaces of the weapons, I decided to create them in Fusion 360. The blade extends back into the handle for better balance and a more secure connection. After finishing the model here, the next step is to export it for sizing. I go to the Make tab, select 3D Print, while turning off the Send to 3D Print utility because it's not going directly to my printer. Then I save it as an STL file. Next up is NetFab. Here, I can scale the models if necessary. Thankfully though, Fusion is used in real-world CAD applications, and it's easy to size in it. So here, I'll just be using NetFab to break the model into parts. I'm splitting the handle along the Y-axis, keeping in mind how this will allow it to print. I try to think about how the print lines will be oriented because that can affect strength, ease of cleanup, and assembly. After that, I export each part as their own STL. We need to hop back into Fusion for a second. Because of the thinness of the blade and the scabbard, I decided to try dovetail joints for the first time. These will help when I glue everything together and create a stronger connection compared to just two flat surfaces sticking together. I first tried using dovetail joints in the test version of the NetFab 2018 Pro, but that program is a bit outside my price range. So I did some digging and found a wonderful tutorial, which I'll link below, that shows how to create dovetail joints using Fusion 360. It takes a bit more work, but I'm happy to know that there is an alternative way. Back to my normal pipeline. Kiss Slicer takes the model and breaks it down into layers based on how detailed I want the print. Thinner layers means more time and a sharper, smoother print. Thicker layers make for a shorter print time, but more cleanup. My version of this program was customized by the makers of my printer, with several options for print variations. All of this info is then saved as a G-code, and it's off to the printer. I use a Polyprinter 229. It has a 9x9 heated bed, includes a webcam, and is fully enclosed. The program my printer uses is called Polyprinter. This screen lets me know how hot the print bed and extruder are, gives me its own estimation on how long the print is going to take, and keeps me updated on if anything goes wrong. Before printing the full-sized version, I decided to print off a mini version to test with various scabbard designs. During this project, I learned that the scabbards of curved blades can often have an opening to allow the blade to slide in from the top as well as the front. The main purpose of this test was to see how far inset the cut needed to be to allow the blade to slide in without bending. My first time using dovetail joints was a success. Other than needing some cleanup, they fit together nicely and allow for the blade to be assembled without adhesives. For the parts that did need some cleanup, I used a tiny set of sanding tools to get in between the joints. This 3-sided tool was great because it mimicked the shape of the keys. To flatten the top, this hand sander was great. And to take off more area, I wrapped some of the sanding tools in low grit sandpaper. I then assembled the whole thing, and other than the dovetail joints, it held together with some painter's tape. And that leaves the final test. Overall, it works. I just need to widen the space in the scabbard to account for the lining I'm going to add, which will help protect the final paint job. I'll fix the model, reprint it, then it's on to final assembly and sanding, which I'll cover in a future video. Thanks for watching!